Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Black Girl Iowa podcast. I'm your host, Emily, and y'all, thank you so much for coming back to the show. Before we jump in, though, to today's topic of the show, um, I wanted, I need to talk about a few things that has made me so busy these last few weeks, things that I am celebrating. And first and foremost, the thing I'm celebrating, you guys, is I am in my last class for my master's. So I started my last class this past Monday on the 21st. And so it's official. I'm on the last stretch working on my final project, which I will be kind of doing something where just talking about the importance of community and building community and safe spaces for Black women. So I'm really excited to do my research on that. I'm going to be creating a Google form that's going to basically be act as my questionnaire and just really be able just to get some really good qualitative data. And then just also talking about the things that Black women have done to create those safe spaces. So I'm super excited about that. And then in addition to that, so even before the class started, I had to submit my application to graduate, which was approved. And just yesterday, so that would have been Saturday, I ordered my cap and gown and my graduate regalia. So I'm really excited. The day is going to be Saturday, December 14th. I will be walking across that stage with my Master of Arts in Communication from Drake University. And I am so excited about this, you guys. The next thing that I want to do is I have two shout outs that I want to give out this week. Actually, I have three. So the first shout out is to the Women of Color Network at Iowa State University and all of the program directors and facilitators and all that stuff. This past weekend, I actually did this for the second time. I was a group facilitator for the Women of Color Network retreat at the YMCA camp in Boone. This is an opportunity for these women and their students to basically get off campus for a few days and go out into the wilderness and really build sisterhood and fellowship. And it's a fun weekend. So basically, we go out to the camp. This time around, we took about 30 girls with us, and we were able to just really get some inspiration from like our keynote speaker, and then have some group discussions about what our students are actually going through as women of color at Iowa State University, which is a predominantly white institution, a PWI. So having that conversation and just giving those girls that time, I think is really important. But it was funny because at the end of that first day, we have like our keynote, we have our group discussion, we have our introductions and all those great things. And then at the end of the day, the girls basically have free time. So we do everything from s'mores. We did a night walk. We did also kind of like crafts. So students were able to really do anything from making necklaces to playing card games. There was a really serious game of Uno Flip that happened. And I played Uno Flip before, and they're like, Miss Amy, you want to play? No, because that game is dangerous. um, but I was just decompressing because it was a long day for me anyway. And just sitting and watching all of these girls, all of these women, just be able to be themselves and like relax, it's top tier. And moments like that, I know like it was almost like a core memory was created for these girls. But at the same time, it's those core memories, those experiences that our state legislation is trying to take away by making it so that public universities cannot have a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion work on campus, which means funding programming like this. And it just kind of makes me think, like, how much longer are these girls going to have this before it's taken away from them? And while it was great to get out of the city and share this experience, it was also really sad because it could all be taken away tomorrow. So, but these are really moments and memories that I know I'm never going to forget. And I hope these girls feel the same way. So big shout out to all of the participants, all of the group facilitators, all of the women at Iowa State University that understand the necessity and the need and that really advocated to get funding for this trip. This trip has been going on for over a decade, and I hope and pray that it can continue for these girls. So the last thing I want to talk about real quick is the Black Women Meetup at Lua Brewery a couple weeks ago. So there is a Facebook group, and I will put all of this, I'll put the information in the show notes. There's a Facebook group for Black women here in the Des Moines area where we can just really share, talk, fellowship, all those things. But they also meet up like once a quarter. And so I went ahead and I went to the meetup at Lua Brewery, and it was great. I got to reconnect with some women that I have met over the summer and just really talk with them and see what everybody was up to, have some good food. And then we took a picture, and it was great. So to the organizers for that group and that meetup, thank you. Because again, these are the spaces that we need to create for ourselves, and they just make it all so much better. So those are my shout outs and celebrations for this time around. Oh, I have one more. Okay. So if you're watching the video, you guys see I have on my Black Girl Iowa hoodie. So as you guys know, I opened up my merch shop for 2 weeks last month. I made 5 sales, which I'm very, very excited about. And all of those have been ordered, processed, packaged, and shipped. So to the following, thank you so much for supporting the podcast and supporting my little merch shop. So a shout out to Liza Sharp, my girl Dion, Sarah Voya, Jessica Clark. Those 3 girls I have known since forever. So thank you. My friend Lisa Faye, and then also a big shout out to my girl Erica Erickson. So Erica is amazing, and she was actually a good friend of my sister's when they were in middle school. And I got to meet up with her over the summer, and she let me read all of these notes that her and my sister used to like pass along in school. So that was really fun to kind of read a little bit about my sister, things that I probably didn't know about her. The one thing I did find out, though, that me and Olivia had in common when we were in middle school and high school, we were both boy crazy. So, yeah. But yeah, so thank you all to supporting my Etsy shop. And don't worry, you guys, I will be opening up the Etsy shop again. I'm just waiting on a couple of things and dates. And then I will let you guys know so then you can all purchase your merch. Okay. Now the celebrations and shout outs are all done. So what I want to talk about today is something that I have been doing since I was a kid. I want to talk about journaling. So journaling is one of those things where some people need to do it every day. Some people used to do it. Some people only do it every once in a while. But regardless, we have all kept a journal or a diary or written down random thoughts or musings at some point. So for me, I wanted to really talk about how I do it and why I do it. But first, there are a few facts that I want everyone to know about journaling. So I did some research and I looked at an article from the University of Rochester, New York Medical Center. And it said that there are many benefits to journaling, which include managing your anxiety, reducing stress, and also coping with depression. Journaling can also help control your symptoms and improve your mood by helping you prioritize your problems, feelings, and concerns, tracking any symptoms day to day so that you can recognize triggers and learn ways to better control them, providing an opportunity for positive self-talk and identifying negative thoughts and behaviors. And also something that the article mentioned about remembering is that journalism is just one aspect of a healthy lifestyle for better managing stress, anxiety, and mental health conditions. When you are journaling, you need to remember to relax and meditate, eat a healthy and balanced diet, be active, move your body, get plenty of sleep, and stay away from drugs and alcohol. So those are all the things that you also need to be keeping in mind if you're looking to live a healthier life. Are those last few things, but journaling can definitely lead to having a happy and healthier life. So when I think about my own journaling journey or experience or whatever it is that you want to call it. I have been journaling literally since I was little. Um, I remember, it being in class and just writing random notes like all over my notebook or my paper and things like that. And just kind of wondering, okay, well, where can I put all of these things? And when I was around 11 years old, I saw a movie for the very first time. It was a Nickelodeon production and it was called Harriet the Spy. So this was a book. I do not know who the author of Harriet the Spy was, but I just remember the movie because I thought it was awesome and I watched it all the time. And I loved how Harriet was a spy, how she would go around and try and find all of these little different um, things to learn about and investigate and stuff like that. But she had a journal, she had a notebook. It was her notebook. That's where she wrote everything. And I remember watching that movie and being like, wow, she has a notebook for everything. I want a notebook for everything. And I also knew the importance of if you have something like this and you're writing personal things in it, you need to protect it no matter what. Because remember, if you saw the movie, her notebook ends up getting stolen. And all of the thoughts that she had about her classmates ended up getting reported to like everyone. And it was a whole big thing, and everybody hated her. And then they spilled blue paint all over her. And it was a whole thing. In the end, it was okay. Everyone forgave her. And I really think too that, like, for me, it was like, okay, well, I want somewhere where I can write all my thoughts, whether I'm angry, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm mad, whatever. But I also want to make sure that I keep it next to me. So, I started journaling probably right around that time when I was 11. And where I used to hide my journal, I used to hide it under my mattress. I hid it in between my mattress and my box spring. And I do not think anybody in my family ever read it. Okay. Maybe my sister might have read my diary at some point. I don't know. But I remember I would have a notebook. And then I also remember that in school, I would save like the last like 5 or 10 pages of my spiral notebook for my random thoughts and things that I just wanted to write about because I always wanted to look busy in class so the teacher would like never call on me. And it always looks like I was vigorously taking notes. And 8 out of 10 times I was, but the other 2 times I was probably just talking shit in my journal about this, that, and whatever. So, like I said, especially like when I got to high school too, I was journaling like almost every day. And okay. So this is something that not a lot of people know about from my high school days. But because this is my podcast, this is my story, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys. All right. So, you know how like when you watch like ESPN and they'll do like a power ranking, right? So like the NFL. So like every Monday and Tuesday, Stephen A on First Take does his power ranking basically of the top teams in the NFL, right? And it's like the top like 5 teams. So when I was in high school, I had my journal. I had many a journals in high school. Um, and I did a power ranking for cute boys. Yeah. So basically like every week I would like write in my journal 1 through 10 what cute boys do I want to talk about, and I would like 1 through 10, right? And they would move every once in a while, like if boy A, if I found out he had a girlfriend, oh, you're probably under 10. Like you're not even the top 25 at that point, right? But like if you said hi to me or if we like talked during English class or something like that, oh my God, like, you're number one, you're top 3, right? So what is interesting is I found one of those notebooks at my parents' house a while ago, a few years ago. And the boys that were listed, first of all, hilarious. Second of all, it was almost like kind of taking me back to that time when I was 15, 16 years old and where I was and what I was thinking during that time. But also, I think the other thing and one of the reasons why like I had like my boy power ranking is because like and I wrote about this too, is that I just felt like I always want to notice. I felt like I was never going to be that girl that boys noticed. And so I figured if boys weren't going to recognize me, that's fine. I will go ahead and recognize them in my journal, and then that was that. And before any of y'all slide into my DMs, no, I will not be publishing what that power ranking ever looked like. Okay. If you are wondering, oh, damn, did I make Emily's cut? You probably did. And I'm going to leave it at that. That's all it is. It's whatever. Right. But that power ranking is so funny. And I think also, too, that kind of leads into how I feel about sports, especially the NFL. So every time I see like the power ranking, I'm always like, man, I had my own top 10 before it was a hot top 10. And it was just based on voice. But I say all of that to say that my journal, especially during those high school years and even my middle school years, it was so important for me to have a place where my thoughts, my opinions were safe. I didn't have to worry about anybody reading it or it becoming public knowledge. And it was where my thoughts and opinions and views were valued. And that is probably one of the same reasons why I still keep a journal to this day. I have many journals, okay? Actually, the episode is written in this one. And this is just like a 300-page notebook that I bought off of Amazon for like $10. Um, but again, I keep journals for anything and everything. And I will tell you that one of the things about me journaling is now, especially, it is absolutely 100% a part of my daily routine. I journal every day, no matter what. If I don't journal, then it's usually one of two things. It's either because I'm not feeling well or I'm just too tired. But even when I am tired, I will still write a couple of lines and then that's it. Um, so again, I journal every day. I have a few different notebooks that I do all of my things through right now. So first and foremost, I have my daily. So again, I write every day and I track all of those things. So actually, I'm currently working, and I'm going to be showing you guys some visuals. If you watch the audio visual part of this. But so for example, these are these really cute. Um, I think there's 60 page notebooks that I had bought in a pack. And so I have 5 of them here, but there are 6 in total. And I write in them every day, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And I love writing in them. I'm not going to open them up or anything like that because these are personal. But these are basically a challenge for me to, one, use all of my notebooks, but also to see if I can fill a notebook up in a month. So I have already done August. I have done September. Now I am working in October. In October, I have about 7 pages left. But I also have like these cute little mood stickers that I'm able to also track my mood in, which I really love. And then I have some for November and December. So I write in this every day. Sometimes I'll write 1 page. Sometimes I'll write 8 pages. It really just kind of all depends on how I'm feeling. So I have my notebook. So the next thing that I write in every day is my 5-year journal. So this I bought off of Amazon. I think it was like $20, but it had all these different really awesome colors in it. And this, let me see if I can find a page where nothing is on it. But this is basically one where you have a spot to write the year, and then you write a few lines about your day. I timestamp everything. And so the goal is to finish this and see what every day is like for me over the next 5 years. So I started this last year in 2023. This will be done, let's see here, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026. This will be finished in 2027. So really excited. I absolutely love this. There was a time over the summer. I didn't write in this for 4 months, I think, just because of everything that was going on in my life at that time. But I'm back to writing in it every single day. So, and it's funny because I actually just wrote in it last night, and on October 25th or October 26th, 1 year ago, I was diagnosed with COVID. So going back and reading my COVID, I'm shocked that I was able to like feel good enough to write about COVID in here, but it is all in here. So that's the other notebook that I'm working on. So the next notebook that I'm currently doing is one for all of my diamond art. So this is a journal that I had gotten as a gift. It's actually a bullet journal, and it really gives me the opportunity to put a little picture in, write all of the stats about the diamond art that I work on, because that's like one of my favorite hobbies. And then also to write about how I felt about the diamond painting that I worked on. So if you're looking at the visual video, this is an example of that. So it's a bullet journal though, so there's like a lot of washi tape and stickers and stuff like that that goes into this one. So there's that. So the next one though is something that we will definitely talk about like a little bit more in depth in a little bit. But I just posted about this, and that is my write and rack. So this was actually a Christmas gift that I got, and basically this is journal books. And we're going to talk about like journal prompt books and all of that stuff like in a little bit. But I really loved working on this because this book was broken into three parts. It was current me, past me, future me. And what I was able to do, and again, I'm not going to show you guys any of the pages, but I'll show you guys these little things, is what I love about books like this is that you get to write in them and you also get to make them your own. So what I ended up doing was I actually like put pictures and stuff like that in my write and rec of me like where I am now, and then like where I was, like I put like all my baby pictures and stuff like that in there and pictures from when I was little. And then also things that I'm looking forward to in the future. So as you can see, I have all the stuff in here about my podcast. So these books, and again, I've got tons of them, but these books I think are great, especially if you want to journal, but you don't know what you want to journal about. And so sometimes prompts will actually help you jog your memory, jog your thoughts. So then you can actually have something to write down that's going to be relative and something that you might want to chronicle and might want to keep. So the last one that I have is the one that I just showed you guys. And it's this one. This is my catch-all. So I have everything in here. I write down everything. Okay. Like I chronicle everything. Perfect example of something that I chronicle that it might be weird to some, but I absolutely love doing it is I chronicle NFL. So every week, because again, like I watch football all day on Sundays, right? So every week I pick the winners, and then I just kind of go based off of who won and all of that stuff. So it's just something fun that I absolutely love to do. And so I chronicle everything in here, and I have it basically spaced out all the way until we get to the playoffs and then the Super Bowl, and I'll probably create like really cute spreads for that. But also when these journals get full, I will also journal in here when I'm in between months. So that is what I have going on with what I'm currently using for journaling. And, I think the other thing that I really love about journaling is that I can make it my own. I'm a crafty girl. So I have stickers, I have washi tape, I have different pens and markers and all kinds of different things. But sometimes I don't want to use all of that. Sometimes I just want to put my pen to the paper and just write it out, right? But regardless, I love to journal. Why do I love to journal? I love to journal because it helps me get everything out of my head. Sometimes there's so much stuff up here, I can't function. And so for me to have that chance to journal, write everything down, be as honest and candid as I want, and not have any judgment because of it, that's huge to me. And then also, I really think that journaling is important because, and I was just saying this to a friend of mine, it's amazing how much you forget the older you get. I say that because there are things that I remember now about my childhood, and I'm like, wow, like I actually forgot that thing for like a really, really long time. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, well, what else about like my childhood don't I remember, right? Because again, yeah, I did journal like when I was younger, but I have no idea where any of those journals are. And it's another reason why I like to journal is because again, like it's a chronicle, right? It's a chronicle of your life. And it's a way for you to understand where you were. So that way, hopefully you don't end up down that same road, or even just to remind you where you've been. And what I've noticed is that when I have those opportunities to sit down and reread a journal, it really takes me back to those experiences. So, perfect example of this is last year, probably like sometime last summer, I read the journal that I had the last year of my marriage. And it was crazy because it was like a catch-all, so it's a lot like this one that I already showed you guys. But the crazy thing about that one was that it it was wild because it was like a catch-all. So I was also like tracking the books I was reading and all of that because at the time all I was doing was reading. But reading how miserable I was and how sad I was and how I didn't understand how or why my ex-husband wanted nothing to do with me and all those other things, that was a lot. But at the same time, it made me remember what the purpose was, what the whole reason was for me to get to a point where I said to myself, Emily, you cannot live the rest of your life like this. You have to go. So it was actually really important for me to have that moment and to read what Emily at age 35 was going through before at age 36 she decided she had had enough. So I thought that that was really important for me to read, um thinking back on just that last year of my marriage, and also really reminding me that I don't ever have to live like that again. So that was fantastic. So I have went through all of the things, right? So I went through my history, I went through some research that I've done, I went through what I'm currently using as journals, and also I need just go ahead and get out there. I love notebooks. Okay? The number of notebooks that I have not even touched yet is wild to me. Okay? That being said, a couple years ago, I did a video on my YouTube channel, and I'll link it below, of just how many notebooks I actually have. And I actually did flip throughs of some of the notebooks I've already completed. I think that number is still the same. And that's because for every notebook that I've used, I usually end up buying 2 to 3 more. So, yeah. So, and maybe actually that'll be something that I should do as like a guess, and maybe somebody can like win a free T-shirt or something. So it's like, guess how many notebooks Emily has. I should do that. That would be really really good. Okay. Anyway, so catch that sometime this week. I'll post it. You guys will be able to put your entry in and all that other stuff. Okay. So, so I know like I've talked about like all the reasons like why I love to journal and all that other stuff, but I encourage everybody that listens to this show to think about journaling. I have talked to some of my friends and they've been like, "Oh, Emily, like your journals are so pretty and this, that, and the other." And I can't journal because I have bad handwriting or because, I never have time or because I don't have any notebooks and this, that, and the other. Y'all, and I'm going to say that I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. There are always going to be a million reasons not to do something. If you have always thought, you know what, journaling is something that maybe I should get into because everything is just so frantic, do it. You don't need a lot of stuff to journal. And I promise you, all of the excess stuff that I have when it comes to my journal, like all the pens and the markers and the pencils and the washi tape and the stickers, you don't need none of that. You don't need a bunch of different journals and notebooks to write in either. You really just need one good pen and one good notebook and you're good. Okay. So I have two things that I want to talk about next. First of all, we're going to talk about how to get started journaling. So I really kind of like had to sit and think, what are some things that I know that I do with my journaling time that are really important to me? And also, what did I do to get started? Okay. So a couple of things um, that we're going to start with is pick a notebook. That's it. Just pick a notebook. This can be any kind of notebook, but regardless, it needs to be something that you're comfortable writing in. Okay. So you can pick a notebook like this. This is just a cute little A6 style notebook. It's lined with the pages and everything like that. Some of these are numbered even, something like this. You could also pick something that's a little more cutesy and hardbound, which I love a good hardbound notebook. This one I actually just picked up. It says Blessed. It's super cute. I got it from Ross, and it was $3.99. So it's really pretty. It's got some gold foiling on it, gold foiling on the sides. When you open it up, and what I love about this one too, if you do want to be creative like me, it comes with stickers. And then also just really nice lined notebook paper on the inside. Or if you don't want something hardbound, you can also just do something that's a spiral. So this one, it is an A5 size ruled paper. It also comes with the elastic band and a pen loop, which is another really great thing. And it's got the lined paper. And what I love about this one, this is why I bought this one, is that it has a spot for the date and it also has a page number. And then the other really great thing about this is I love a good table of contents. Okay, so yes, listen, this is me nerding out, by the way, so just FYI. But it also has a really good table of contents here. So that way, you can actually, go back and make reference about things that you might have written about. So there are always this one. And then there's one other type of notebook that I always recommend people, especially if you're not sure how you want to start journaling. And that is get a planner. Get a planner. Okay. So this one is actually a horizontal and this is undated also. So this is one that you could start any time of the year, which I think is fantastic. This one, you'll see it has just enough space for you to horizontally write about your day. These ones are also really good for like journaling prompts and things like that. Or if you just want to write like a couple of lines about your day, that's totally fine too. Or if you want to, do like a memory keeper or something like that, where you only want to put like trips and vacations and things like that, definitely use that. It's totally fine. So picking a notebook is going to be incredibly important. The next thing that's going to be important, picking a pen or a pencil. Yes. Picking a pen or a pencil. And again, you can pick anything. If you just want to use a pack of 99-cent big ink pens, do it. As long as you have a notebook and your pen, you're fine. Okay. Me personally, and I will be sure to link all of this, I prefer a fine point Sharpie pen. Fine point Sharpie pen in either a .04 or a .07 are my choice. Because I have bigger handwriting and also I tend to write to like press down kind of hard when I write. So these pens are perfect for me. Another thing about me, I'm a pen snob. It is what it is. So, but yes, pick a pen, pick a pencil, a marker, doesn't matter. Just pick something that you feel comfortable writing with. Now, before I get into the next thing, I know some people are going to be thinking, but Emily, I have terrible handwriting. I get it. Okay. Not everybody has perfect handwriting. There are so many that you could be using to journal. If you have an iPhone, there is an app called Journal, and it's really quick and easy. All you have to do is download it. It's free. And the cool thing that I love about the Journal app is that if you take pictures or you have been listening to a song on repeat or you go somewhere, because your phone is already tracking all of these things, it'll make suggestions to you. It'll say, hey, you went to the farmer's market today, why don't you write about that? And that way you can just type all of those things. So for the iPhone, I highly recommend the Journal app. If you have an Android or a Google phone or any other, or like a Pixel, My Diary or Daily Beat are other really good apps for you to journal. So therefore, you're cutting out the need of a notebook and you're cutting out the need of a pen or a pencil. And you could just get right to journaling. And then if you take pictures, screenshot recipes or anything like that, you can add all of that stuff right into your chronicle. So that's also a really, really good idea if you want to journal, but you don't like your handwriting or you don't want to do a notebook. Two other things that I want to talk about is finding a quiet place. Okay. For me, I cannot journal in chaos. I have tried to journal at coffee shops. I've tried to journal, like when I was at Y Camp, I couldn't journal like around a bunch of people. It was just too much for me. So picking a space that's quiet where you won't get a lot of distractions or disruptions. So that way you can really focus on your train of thought and really be able to write freely. I think that that is incredibly important. Another thing that I always recommend too, and this is only for those people that, like that, I also love to listen to lo-fi when I journal. So I actually have a lo-fi playlist that I play all the time when I'm journaling, or listening to like instrumental music, is also really good, too. The only thing though that I have against listening to instrumental music while I'm journaling is there have been a few times where one of two things happen. Number one, I just start singing. Number two, I write the lyrics in my journal. So those are two things that have happened. That's why I choose to listen to lo-fi. But those are two other things that I think are like super important. The last thing, and this is really where it's going to come back to the suggestion of my write and rec. So, granted, for me, for my write and rec journal, it was a gift. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. It had 200 prompts. I was already journaling. So, I just added it to my journaling routine, right? You don't have to do that. Okay. Like, you really don't. So, if you're looking for things to jog your memory and to kind of be like, okay, well, I need some help getting it all started. There are so many journal prompts out there that you can access. If you have Pinterest, just go and search journal prompts and there will be hundreds. They can be about, you growing up. You could write your personal history, questions that, you usually don't ask yourself. There's also daily prompts that are out there. Another one that I really think is cool is if you are wanting to study the Bible more and really understand your faith and different scripture and how to use them, there are different prayer journals and prompts and that reference Bible verses and things like that. There are so many different things on the internet that are free that you could use. Also, if you're like me, I love journal prompts. I love books. So there are so many different types of journaling prompt books that you could be using. So this one, The Story of My Life. So this one, it's broken out in a few different sections where you're kind of going through like your childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, and really reminiscing and thinking about things that have happened in your life and things that you want to keep a chronicle of, which I think are great. The other one is this book here. It's 3,000 questions about me. And it literally is 3,000 questions that are completely random. Like, for example, do you think after a certain age, people should not be allowed to drive? Hmm. What is the most useless talent you have? Mine is probably journaling. No, I'm kidding. So, but regardless, like there are so many good questions in here. So that's another thing where I have seen people. One thing that I saw this one lady do is she put a bunch of numbers in the jar. And every day she would pick a number out of the jar, and whatever number that question was, she would answer it in her journal. I love that. The only reason why I wouldn't do that though is because I love chronological order. So that would probably drive me nuts. But what she would do is she would answer the question in a separate journal and then she would cross it out in the book. I thought that was fantastic. So that's another thing. Last but not least, say that you like to journal, but you also like to draw. Boom, look at that. My life in sketches. And this asks you 365 prompts. So this one could be done in 365 days. And it asks you to write about different things in your life. So for example, day 209, your favorite writer or author or something that reminds you of them. So what I love about this is, yes, it's my life in sketches, but this could be used and interpreted in so many different ways. So how I plan on using this one is, so if I'm answering day 27, something that made you mad, I'm going to write about what made me mad. Or if there's a picture of it, like, oh, I don't know, the Dallas Cowboys, they make me mad. I might put a picture of Dak Prescott in here or Jerry Jones and say, you know what, the Dallas Cowboys really make me mad, and here's why. And it's not even that they make me mad; they just can't win. But anyway, we're not talking football right now. But I thought that was really cool. In these books, they can be found at Target. They can be found at Walmart. My Write and Rec, I actually just bought one for my best friend. This was at Five Below for $5. So again, there are all kinds of just really, really great journaling prompt books if you need a little help getting started. Okay. So the last thing that I will go ahead and talk about too is just how to journal. And to be honest, you can't tell somebody how to journal. You literally, it's a feeling, it's a need, it's something that, you want to do and you want to add it into your daily routine. The What helps me in journaling is number one, I make it a priority and I make it a part of my routine. I try to write every day. So I usually write anywhere between 10 and midnight because I usually go to bed like around midnight. But it's really easy for me to set that time aside because number one, I'm usually not scrolling on the internet. I'm not talking to anybody that late. I'm not watching anything really at that time unless it's me rerunning through a TV show like Game of Thrones, which I'm currently doing right now and I'm on season 4. But it's something to where I don't even need to set a timer to it. I just do it and it's a part of my daily routine. And honestly, I can't sleep unless I journal. Also, again, and I've said this before, make it easy. Again, yes, I have all the things, but this is like an accumulation over time. Okay. You don't need all the things. You need a pen and you need a notebook, or you need your phone with your that is all you need to journal. If you want to get more into decorative journaling and all that other stuff, there are hundreds of YouTube channels that will show you how, when, all of the things to do that. Um, Write or draw whatever feels right to you too. Like, there have been some days where like I've had like a really, really hard day and I'm like, man, I can't wait to journal about this when I get home. And then I won't even write about it. And it's just because I'm not ready to put that down on paper yet. And that could be just because, I haven't really processed everything. There are some things that I want to understand. There's someone I want to go talk to before I actually go and put this out there. It's really one of those things where you do what feels right. I've seen people that, write a lot and then they're like, what, I just want to draw. I just want to draw out my thoughts for the day. And people will do that. There was one gal, and I thought this was so cool. She didn't really know what to journal. And so she had went to Chipotle for dinner and she drew what she put in her Chipotle burrito bowl. And then she also cut out pieces of the bag and put that in her journal as well with like her receipt and stuff like that. And again, it wasn't that she didn't have anything to say. She just didn't feel like doing it. She says, you know what? I'm going to journal what I like in my Chipotle burrito bowl. And I thought that was great. So again, do what you feel. If you feel like writing, if you feel like journaling, if you are a sticker, washi tape girly like me, be creative with your papers and things like that. Actually, I can show you guys. And again, you know, it's really awesome. So I bought like all of this ephemera off of online. And so I did like a collage in one of my journals of all of these like old timey just stickers and washi tape and stuff like that. And it was just fun. I don't do that all the time, but it was fun for me to do it in that one moment. And last but not least, use your journal as it fits you. Don't listen. I journal every day. Okay. But if you're like, man, I can't commit to that every day, can I journal about my week? Absolutely. Journal about your week. That's totally fine. But regardless, you don't have to do everything based off of what everyone says. Like I said, I find time to do it every day. That's totally fine because it's part of my routine. But if your routine is to journal once a week, if your routine is to journal once a month and spend 4 hours just going at it, do that too. Trust me, I've been there. I've done that before. But it's just going to be really important for you to journal as you see fit. And also know you don't have to share it with anybody. I do not let people read my journals. Absolutely under no circumstance. I may turn back and reference things. I may tell somebody, oh my God, girl, I had to write this thing in my journal and what I realized was this. Totally fine. Do that. But under no circumstance do you have to share your journal with anybody. If you want to share it with somebody, just make sure that it's like somebody you trust. But honestly, your journal, that is for you. If you feel the need to share it with others, you can, but don't feel obligated to do it. Okay. So, so those are the things that I wanted to share about journaling. For me, again, journaling has always been a major part of my life. I will probably be doing this all the way up until the day God says, you know what, I want you to come and hang out with me and get off this earthly plane. But I always encourage everyone to try it. To me, it's therapy. To me, it's a way for me to get out everything that's in my head and put it all on paper. And for me, again, journaling for me is also a way for me to be creative. I am not an artist. I do not draw, but listen, I could put some stickers and washi tape together and make something cute. And I love doing that in my journal. So, again, I just recommend that if this is something you're interested in, definitely do it. I will have tips and tricks and all of that stuff that I'll be posting throughout the weeks, just the things that you can kind of remember about it. And then if you do end up journaling, let me know. Like, let me know what book, what notebook you picked. Let me know what kind of pen you like to use. Did you just go with a regular little notebook like this? Or did you get a bullet journal? Did you get a planner? Did you go and pick up a write and rec book? And honestly, all of the books that I have talked about, I will be sure to link all of those things in the description. So, that is all that I have for you guys for this week. Thank you so much for joining. Next week's episode, y'all. Because as you guys know, next week, next Monday, it is going to be the last Monday before Election Day. Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th, you guys. So please make sure that you guys are going out to vote. Y'all already know who I'm voting for. So we've talked about that. I will be voting for the Harris Walls campaign. That's me. But please make sure you guys are getting out there to vote. Next week, I will be having a dynamic conversation with Councilwoman Renee Hardman out of West Des Moines. She'll be talking about her journey to Des Moines, what she's been doing since she's been here, why she decided to stay, and also why civic engagement is so important for you guys to always be involved in your communities. It's a fantastic interview, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear it. But first, make sure that you guys go follow me over on Instagram at Black Girl Iowa. Check out my website, which is blackgirliowa.com. And don't forget, every Monday, fresh episode. I have the full slate planned out for the rest of the year, y'all. And I've got some gems coming up. So please make sure that you guys are following me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and over on YouTube at Emili the Creative. The playlist is called Black Girl Iowa audiovisual episodes. So that way, that's another way for you guys to check me out. All right. Thank you so much, though, for listening. I appreciate it. And we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.